Alright, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew and today we are still working on the 50 Pontiac. I got some exciting stuff, but that is a T56. It's an LT1 version, but they will still bolt up to the LS, and this is also a 4.8 liter that I just picked up for a mock-up motor basically. And I bought these motor mounts off of Amazon, and they look really nice on Amazon, and when they came in they weren't very nice. So I ended up coming back through and I put weld on the inside and outside because they were not fully welded on the inside, which I didn't really much care for. So I went ahead, welded them up, had to take them all apart. But now that I got that all welded up, I got them bolted on, intakes off this motor. I did get a truck water pump bolted on. It's kind of just mock-up stages for now. I want to see where everything's going to work out at. But basically, I got my transmission bolted up to the motor. This is going to be a good enough spot for me to make my floorboards around, so I won't have to worry about that while I'm waiting on this conversion kit to come in with the new input shaft and shims and bell housing. So I'm just going to try to get it in there, try to get it at least somewhat close. I can go ahead and I can make my motor mounts, and then I can make my transmission mount later on. So I can at least get my motor mounts in, and the only thing I have left to worry about is the transmission mount. But I kind of got it halfway in there. I got excited. But I forgot I need to cut out my floorboard, so I figured I'd turn on the camera, get it rolling, and start cutting out my floorboards. I just need to cut out the center section, and we should be ready to rock and roll. Alright, so I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an update on the 50 Pontiac. I've kind of been chugging away. I've kind of been jumping around a lot from body panels to this motor and transmission. But basically, I'm just going by what I can do with what money I have. So, the other day, or it would have been yesterday, I kind of made these boxy plates, which I didn't record. But I was kind of in a hurry. I wanted to get some stuff done. I only had a little bit of time too, so I made them up quick last night. But basically, I bought this motor as kind of my mock-up motor. It's a 4.8 liter. I made sure all my measurements were fine between a 4.8 and the 6 liter because I wasn't sure. I'm not real familiar with these LSs, so I measured it and everything looks like it's going to be right. Hopefully it'll work out in the end. I guess I'll find out. But I went ahead and mocked it up with the LT1 bell housing to the transmission. They will bolt up. Apparently it's just just one bolt hole won't line up. But basically I bolted it to it just to get a reference for how high my tunnel needed to be, which it's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. But hey, I mounted my motor up pretty high and pretty far back. From what you can tell, it's probably an inch clearance here. But I wanted to do that because I knew that the end result and end goal of this car is to run a turbo and have the radiator and the air-to-air intercooler all in this space. I know I'm going to run electric fans, so I just wanted to maximize all the room that I had up here, so when it comes time that I don't run into any issues with clearance this way, which the result of me doing this motor so far back here has now hurt me inside the car, which it's a little dark. I don't have my flashlight, but you can see how far the transmission is now up in the tunnel and how much clearancing I'm going to have to do, which my pedals that they don't have to be where they are now. I can move them, I can rearrange them, I can make room with my gas pedal, my clutch, and my brake. I have so much room over there that it didn't concern me. But I am going to cut up around the tunnel around top because I do want to make it accessible if I do need to change this transmission for any reason. If I break it, if anything happens, I want to make sure that I don't have to pull the whole motor and transmission out as one just to get the transmission apart. So, but basically, this is up probably 10 inches, so it'll pretty much be a 12-inch tunnel. So what I'm going to end up doing is tapering it down to probably mid of the transmission right past the bell housing, so somewhere in this range. So I'll angle it down to that. I'll angle this down a little bit, and then it's going to be a straight line shot all the way to the back of the car, because basically my line is at the top of the floorboard in the back, so I at least know that I'm going to have to go up a little bit in my back seat area, at least 4 inches I'd say, to make sure I have plenty of clearance, which is no big deal. I plan on making this car low. It's probably lowered a foot from what it was originally, so I knew I was going to run into issues here. But I'm happy I did the floorboards this way and made them that wide, because I had no idea that this transmission would be that big in the center. So happy my floorboards worked out. I think I can use them the way they are. I can just build a tunnel that comes up, rounds, and goes over, because I need to buy a 4x8 sheet to do this whole entire run. So a little bit of spare metal I have left, I'll probably build this in afterwards. So I'll probably start from here to here and then do here to the back. And then I'll make the front angles one piece at a time, instead of trying to make these and then make that work with that. I can do the main majority of it, get my floor strength back. I can weld it in here. That'll give me my floor strength. I can cut the rest out and weld that in. Then I know my floors and none of my doors are going to move or anything like that, because my cowl is structurally strong across the top still. So that's pretty much the game plan I got now. But now my transmission adapter is probably going to come in tomorrow or the next day. So one thing I wanted to do tonight was actually pull the motor back out, and then tomorrow night I'll be able to weld all that up, and we'll see if my adapter plate comes in tomorrow. If it does, I'll go ahead and I'll throw that guy in there. I'll try to make a video of it, me throwing it in there, trying to shim it, make sure it's all right. But for now, I'm just going to pull the motor back out and make sure it's all good. Get it all welded up tomorrow. It should be perfect. All right, you saw me gently remove the motor. It's a little tight, which I knew it was going to be. So you can see I actually had to cut it a little bit to get it out because since I set the motor so high, transmission had to come up pretty high before I could even start to remove it. So had to notch that. I need to go probably an inch or two above that to make like a nice round transmission tunnel, which is no big deal. I knew I had to do that. And I think my pedals that are bolted there, I think I'll put them on the firewall here, rebend my rod, and I think everything will be good. But overall, I think it was a success. Motor mounts are tacked in. I think they are perfectly fine the way they are. I do want to come in here, and I know this motor mount over here looks real funky, but it's because, like I was saying earlier, how I have one over and one under. So that's why it looks so funky. So basically what I'm going to do is make some sort of boxing on the inside of here just to make it a round hole. So I'll weld a little bit more in there and get everything welded out real nice. I left a nice groove so I can weld into. Just for right now, it's all tacked. It was good enough to hold the motor in there. So I'm going to leave that mount in there until after I get my transmission mount in and get it bolted in and solid. And then I'll remove that one and make my brace pieces back from the subframe in. So getting excited, looking forward to it. Everything's working out so far. But for now, I think that's where I'm calling it for the night. Been working hard. But this weekend I should be able to take off on it pretty decently. So yeah, but for now, thanks for watching. See you later.